behind us, right on the side of us. You could kind of see the thing moving through the woods.
All I can remember is flipping the light on, and I see this creature, and I knew in my heart, I knew in my mind, and the whole night, this isn't a man.
And then this thing walks across the road, takes a turn towards us, and then leaps over a guardrail.
Went to look forward, and there was a big black thing.
Welcome to SquatchD-TV, exploring the Bigfoot mystery each week with your hosts, veteran researcher, author, and TV personality, the Squatch detective, Steve Kulls, and from the Bigfoot Research Project of Kentucky, Chris Bennett. Sit back and buckle up as we bring you guests from around North America discussing the Bigfoot phenomena, but not without a few laughs, too. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to SquatchD-TV for today's date, September 19th, 2021. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch detective, Steve Kulls. And here we are, and my co-host downstairs, Mr. Chris.
Mr. Steve, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. This is the last show before Christmas.
That sure is. Sure is.
We'll have one more this year, right? Let's see, the day after
29th.
Christmas?
29th.
Oh, the 29th. Yeah, okay.
Or no, the 26th. I'm sorry. What am I talking
about? Yeah, the 26th. That's one more. So that'll be the New Year's show or New Year's Eve, whatever, early. But, yeah, this is the last show before Christmas. So we thought we'd do something fun tonight because we love our listeners and we love our chat room attendees. We appreciate you guys. You make the show. And tonight we may be kind of counting on you a little bit to make the show because our guest couldn't make it.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a technical difficulty.
Little issue, yeah.
And we couldn't get him on any way.
Well, so, not from lack of trying.
Yeah, exactly. And it was all last minute too. So that kind of.
Also, I want to take a moment here to thank Steve publicly for my brand new Yeti microphone that I'm using tonight. And I can actually hear myself speak now. I'm sorry, guys. You probably hear me sound more like a hick now than ever because the microphone is clearer and everything. But, that's okay. I'm not ashamed to be a hillbilly.
And
thank you again, Steve.
Looking at the chat, we've got I want to do a quick shout out. A gentleman just popped in and said, "Hello from Argentina. Great show, guys. You got this." Oh. Well, welcome, Chris.
Wow, Chris.
Welcome to the family. And
love that name. And Argentina. Awesome, dude.
Yep.
All right.
And I'm not sure what this is, but must be one of
Is that Russian?
That is certainly could be Russian. It could be Ukrainian.
Yeah.
It could be spam. I don't know.
Guys, I'm sorry I'm illiterate on about anything except English, but we love you anyway. Thank you for being here.
And we got some. Well, let's do the roll call here tonight.
Yeah. Oh man,
and it's going to be a little bit of a roll call because
great.
Okay, of course, first in B. Lynn. Hello, B.
Hey, B.
Bigfoot Society in the house. The tall ones.
Yeah, the tall
Joe
ones,
from
Brett.
Western New York, Bigfoot.
Hey, Joe.
Uncle Bones too.
Uncle Bones.
Lester Taylor. Don Fuller.
Lester. Don, welcome.
Em and Chris.
I'm in Chris. Welcome.
And I'm trying to go through Rod Dupree. Rod, welcome.
Rod, good to see you, Rod.
Brian and Chewy go hiking.
Hey, Brian,
in the house.
welcome. Good
Jay
to see
Fritz.
you. Jay.
Jay is an Arthur watch. Arthur, hello.
Hi, Arthur.
Low Rider in the house.
Low Rider.
Right, now we go for a little bit here. Robert Walker. Hello, Robert.
Hey, Robert. Good to see you.
Robert asks, $100. And I like his icon, his channel icon. It's a slice of pepperoni pizza.
Well, Robert, we're giving away $100 to our subscribers, and because we love our subscribers. And if you're new to the channel, dude, subscribe. Okay, we're gonna have $100 coming up here shortly, and we will probably have to check to make sure that you're a subscriber. If you're, I think what we're gonna do, Steve, we're gonna roll the dice, and
we're gonna roll the dice. If you make a
the
comment,
dice,
so you got to make a comment in chat, say hello.
Yeah,
in chat to be part of this. So
yeah, that's it. Make a comment in chat, say hello, and because in order to win, you got to make a comment in chat. Now, I know a lot of you guys are listening on your TV too. Go on to your computer and type in hello into the chat.
Or your smartphone or,
Yeah, whatever.
And also in the house, Bigfoot Okanagan. Hello,
hey,
Leon.
Welcome. Good to see
who
you.
else? Brent from the Tall Ones.
Yeah.
Lockbeard's in the house.
Lockbeard.
And who else? A lot more. Curious Cryptid, Steve, how are you?
Hi, Steve. Welcome, bud. Love your channel, man. I love that. I love those videos of going places. And I made that ferry ride with you. I love it. Curious Cryptid, great channel.
Who else? Godzilla 2000 is in the house. Hello, Godzilla. Good to see you.
That's my favorite movie. Godzilla 2000.
We said hello to Chris Spitzer. We got Paulie T in. Paulie T and
I am lost.
Paulie T.
Paulie, welcome.
And Peyton. And
Peyton?
I is Bigfoot, LOL. So he must have seen
saw the gifting bowl.
The gifting bowl. Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks. Welcome.
Sasquatch Wizards. Right.
You got this one, Chris.
Ateria.
I always mess it up.
I'm sorry, guys.
I miss it.
Overlook me. I'm from Kentucky. All right.
Laughing Picker in the house.
Laughing Picker. That's funny. I like that.
Who else? Prairie Fire.
Prairie Fire. There you are. Welcome.
Sasquatch Out of the Shadows.
Sasquatch Out of the Shadows. I love that. Yeah. Welcome.
There's more. Brian McMahon.
Brian, good to see you.
Welcome. Lance Windsor.
Hey, Lance.
And I think we got them all right now. But if you
no, I see Sherry. Hi, Sherry.
Oh, Sherry. Now we got to make a rule here. Sherry can't win.
Well, yeah. And if Sandy's in here lurking, you can't win either, Sandy. Sorry.
I will say hello to Argo.
Gary,
welcome.
Yeah.
Thom Steenburg in the house. Hello,
hey,
Thomas.
Welcome. Good to see you.
And Nikki's in the house. Some hairy man, hoodwinks and hope.
Nikki, welcome.
Angel Nolan, welcome.
Angel, good to see you.
Mr. Palazzio's in the house. Now, in case people are wondering, see, that's my buddy Steve. We work together, and we do this constant naked gun skit.
Yeah.
We do constantly the naked gun skit. So
yeah, they got a lot of inside stuff going on during the show. You can't only that.
Don goes, any chance? Like, yes, matter of fact, probably.
Oh, Donald, that's funny.
Oh, and it's getting bonated back if I do.
Hilarious. But just remember, you guys, make a comment in the chat, say hello,
and we got time. So,
and if you're new tonight, remember, hit subscribe. It's just that little button right down there. Hit subscribe, because we're going to have to check and make sure you're a subscriber. Okay. We don't want anybody to miss out. Okay.
UP is in the house.
Welcome.
So, Chris, why don't you why don't you talk a little bit about, a little off topic, but, Kentucky had a horrible tragedy last week. Why don't you tell some of the folks what you've seen while I do something real quick here?
Okay. Well, yeah, we had a pretty wild bunch of tornadoes and windstorms come through. And, now here locally in South Central Kentucky, it wasn't as bad as they got it over in Western Kentucky around Mayfield. Now, Mayfield, I think it pretty much, I've not been there physically, but I saw the photos and stuff and news coverage. Looks like it demolished the whole town. They had a lot of people that got killed over there. And here locally, although I've not heard of anybody that got killed yet, thank goodness. I don't think we've had any fatalities. If there are, I don't know about it yet. But there were some people here locally who lost their homes. And, I had some loss, but, I don't, compared to somebody losing their home, what I've lost is no big deal. A few $1,000 is nothing compared to your whole livelihood. But we've had a bunch of trees down here by the house, and excuse me, I'm sorry. That gets picked up very good on this new mic. I'm sorry, guys. But here lately, I've been cutting down. I have downed trees and limbs around the house, and which inspired me to make a new video today on my channel on YouTube, which is kind of funny. I bought this chainsaw from Amazon, and it's one of those Chinese stills. So I'm out there. I have been using this thing. It's just a cheap Chinese chainsaw. I have been using this thing to clear my yard since the day after the storm. And with me, I can't go out there and do a full day's work. So I just kind of do what I can do for that day, and then I'll quit. And then I'll go out again tomorrow and do it. But that Chinese chainsaw has really saved me. It really has. It came through. But the amount of damage in certain areas is like unbelievable. And you see a lot of people, their homes weren't damaged, and then the one next door might be totally destroyed. It's crazy how this weather. Yeah, Brian says weather warfare. Hope not. Yeah, really, Brian. But it's just been a really rough time. And hey, there's Pat. Pat's here. Pat, we gotta get you a microphone, babe. Get that. Well, if Pat gets the money tonight, maybe he can get a microphone.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
We got. Hey, fine. Our good friend Hugh. Remember Hugh?
Hey, Hugh.
he watches. He just doesn't talk.
He's a lurker. Yeah, I do that too. I go on a lot of live streams and just I sit back.
OT in the house too.
OT, welcome. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a guest here in a few seconds. If not, since he hasn't answered me yet, I believe he's probably just getting ready.
Oh, I have an issue. Oh, there it went. Didn't think I was going to have a light there for a minute. Lord
and knows. You know what? Talk about an ad hoc guest, and we're so glad to have him back on. Mr. Thom Steenburg. Hello, Tom.
Oh, Thomas, welcome. Yeah, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you guys too. I was just writing on comments. He said check your Facebook messages.
Well,
Guess Bell, can you come on? Okay. Took 5 minutes to unwrap the headset and everything.
yeah, I kind of figured, well, he didn't answer me, and he's probably getting his, like, oh.
So I thought I'd help you out.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Thomas, you have no idea how glad I am to see you. I missed you on the last show. I had just got back from Ohio, and I don't travel well. And I was stuck in the recliner during the show that you were on. And I hated that, but I still couldn't stand it. I had to get over there and watch it on TV. So, oh, man.
And Tom, I've said this to people in the past. I'll say it to you. You have been one of my Bigfooting heroes. When I was coming up and I was new to this, I was watching your stuff and reading your stuff. Always an inspiration, and I'm so honored to have you on, sir.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you for reminding me I'm getting old and probably die soon.
We're all getting old. My kids asked me, what's the best piece of advice I can give them? I said, don't get old.
Yeah, don't get old.
Don't
get old. And don't start smoking.
Oh, well, yep.
Well,
I have to support Krakatoa here. And,
I have to support the local tobacco farmers, Thomas. I know it's killing me, but somebody's got to do it.
Boy, we got so many in this chat tonight. They're all in for the
great. Yeah. Anybody late coming in, make sure you say hello. It's going to be important later. You got to say something in the chat so we can pick out a winner later. Okay?
Who was supposed to be the guest, by the way?
Well, we had a gentleman on. He actually popped into the YouTube chat. I didn't want him to give his last name away, but his name was Pat, and he had a Bigfoot encounter back in 2018.
Okay.
And I'm actually kind of glad you're here, because I did download a couple of video clips, not necessarily of his interview. That's actually posted up on the channel, but we ended up on September 26th of this year doing a live stream from the area where I kind of figured it must have came from, or a very remote area. It's had a couple of other sighting reports in that general area. And we decided to check it out in the daytime, and we found a track. A single footprint in a splotch of mud that was, rocky on one side, very hard packed, compacted rock on the other side. But in the middle, it was this little trough where there was a little bit of mud in there. Right in the middle of it was a footprint. So we decided to go back to at nighttime, and we decided to take our audience with us. And there was a couple of things that happened. Unfortunately, we were using for the field remote, we were using a smartphone. So they don't have the greatest mic, which is kind of good for podcasting, because it doesn't pick up a lot of, sounds from around you, but it didn't pick up the sounds we were hearing. But one thing we did do is we had recorders going. So we picked up the sounds we did have. So what ended up happening was this. Now Pat's story is really a good one. He was driving home from work one day, and he's in the chat, so I'm gonna really just and he was driving down Route 9 in Saratoga County, New York, and he had one kind of walk in front of him, and there was a woman there that he believes had seen it as well, and he kind of drove by it, and the woman took off, and there it was. He went into the brush towards where we were doing this research just to see if there was anything there. So let me, I'll kick over here. And so the night started with myself going down by myself into down this road while we were podcasting it. And I heard something rather large walking in the woods to my left. And it sounded like it was it was almost flanking me. Now, I didn't think it was Bigfoot. I wasn't sure what it was, because very nearby there was a moose within, I'd say 5-7 miles. There was a moose that actually got photographed over the summer. So is it possible it could be a moose? There's not many bear in that particular area, but it's not unheard of either. So I got concerned that it might have been a moose or a bear, and not necessarily a Bigfoot. And so Mike came down, Mike Ant from Tactical Bigfoot Research.
Mike.
And whatever it was that was walking just kind of petered out. It just stopped. And we didn't hear any more movement. So Mike and I proceed probably about another 50 feet, 100 feet down the road. And we hear this one distinct, and we were therming at the same time. Now Mike starts to see a hot spot. And then as he's seeing the hot spot, we get this tree knock. Now, mind you, we did not tree knock. We did not whoop. We didn't do any vocals or any provocation whatsoever. This came out of nowhere. And in fact, going up there to do this podcast was a last minute decision. It wasn't, we didn't even plan on doing that until that Sunday morning. And because we were coming off the Whitehall thing. So here is that video.
Hot spot. Where? To the left, directly in front of you. Yep, moving. Where'd it go? Oh no. What? Knock. Oh my Lord. You guys hear that? That was a tree knock.
And of course that was with the tree knock amplified.
Yeah.
Because even the recorder picked it up it was very faint on the recorder, but it sounded that loud to Mike and I. Like it sounded like it was like within a couple of 100 feet of us.
Can you play it non-amplified?
I do not have that copy loaded for video, but
as I remember it unamplified, it was not audible during the show.
Right. Yeah. During the show, it wasn't really that audible because it was just like
I couldn't pick it up. But after you amplified it, was like, oh gosh, Louisville Slugger. You know.
Yeah, and even if you look at the waveform itself, just that one section was amplified. The whole clip wasn't amplified. Now, so we hear that one single tree knock, but we lose the thermal whatever that hot spot was disappears. We're kind of like, okay, so we keep on moving. We keep moving forward down to where the track find was. And I had mentioned when we're there, okay, this is the track find. And then we get to a point where there's a couple, just before there's a couple of swamps. And there would be a swamp to our left of us, swamp to our right of us with a pretty narrow path in between the two. And while we were there, we were sitting there talking about the use of some ultraviolet light or black light because it tends to show camera work better, even more so than red light. When all of a sudden this occurred and it was a rock throw.
What's going on in chat, ladies? Okay. That was definitely a rock. We had just have a rock thrown at us.
And yeah,
okay,
so
who all was with you when the rocks were thrown?
It was just me and Mike.
Okay.
There was nobody. The other two, the other two were way up at the top of probably at least a quarter of a mile away up where where we were airing the podcast, where the feed was from.
Yeah.
So
they were manning the desk while Steve and Mike were out in the field. So they were accounted for.
Now, I'm not assuming anything here, but was it, Mike, in your vision when the rock was seen or heard to fall?
Actually, our back was kind of turned to where the rock was thrown from. We were kind of looking the opposite direction, and the rock came just like that.
Did you find the rock?
No, because the problem is that area is very rocky as it is.
I understand that. Yeah, I was just trying to get an idea how big it was.
Yeah. And it didn't sound like a big, maybe at best, maybe a palm-sized rock. It wasn't anything like because you could hear how it I'll play it one more time. It kind of skitters because what it does is it comes through the branches and it hits the other rocks that are on the ground. And it kind of skitters a bit.
What's going on in chat, ladies? Okay.
That was definitely a rock. We had just have a rock thrown at us. So yeah, it was, and that was pretty much the end of the activity for the night. We kind of moved forward a little bit to where the swamps were, and then far off in the distance on the far side of the swamp, we heard some gunshots being fired.
Okay.
And it was coyote season at times, and we know there are guys that hunt coyotes at night, but there were no vehicles at all going up to where we were, and this is the way into this area is where we were. So there was nobody on that side of the swamp, which, goes for a couple of 100 yards the opposite direction, the other way.
This happened in the dark?
This all happened in the dark.
Okay.
Completely pitch dark. We didn't hear anything creeping around, when the rock was thrown, or leaving for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no nut trees or anything like that in that particular area.
And
so
how far away from where the footprint was found was this rock throwing incident?
Within 30, 40, 50 feet. It was okay. It was fairly close to where we found the print originally.
Okay, was the rock in the direction of where you found the print, or the other way?
Yes, it was actually from the direction where we found the print, which I found quite fascinating myself too. I don't know. It was just one of those things. So, this spring we're going to hit that area very hard. The field teams, in place, they've been, warned that this is going to be our primary destination for a little bit.
Did you photograph the print?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Now,
can you show it to me?
I sure can if I can find it. Let's see. I'm sure I got it. Let's see. There we are. I have lots of photos of this, so I can kind of give you a
What's that indication just off to the left, upper left corner? Is that some other mark of some kind, or?
Over in here?
Yeah, right at the top there by the 7 and 8. Yeah, that area. What is that? Is that another depression of some kind?
It does kind of look that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Now, in your opinion, Steve, was it logical for it just to be one print there, or should there have been others?
It was very logical because of the terrain. The area just to the left of that photo is basically rock, compacted rock.
Mm-hmm.
And the area forward is actually compacted rock as well. In fact, I'm going to try to give you an overview of, like, that's moving forward, and that's very hard. As you can see, the tire tracks that were nearby don't even impress that. And you can see the rocky terrain. It's all a lot of compacted rock. You really don't get.
What I don't understand is there should be at least some marks, because that thing looks pretty deep where it is.
Steve, Robert wants to know, where were you in general? Not a specific area, but
Saratoga County. It's surrounded by different state forests. Now the funny thing is also there is kind of a game trail almost from where that leads off to. From the direction it almost seemed to come from. There's actually a roadway. As you can see, a tire track just nearly missed that.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, like I said, it was definitely, how should I say this?
I see a tire track behind you and one in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's how close people missed that one.
Okay. You don't think this is someplace where someone jumped out of their door somewhere?
No.
Okay.
Because in actuality, when we got there, those tire tracks weren't there. Okay. We had gone back to get casting material, came back, and there was a truck now parked to the direction of where my head is kind of facing.
Right.
there was actually a truck parked there, and there was a couple of hunters setting up game cams actually.
Yeah.
And
the one in front of you looks really fresh. The one behind
Right.
you, not so much.
now, mind you, also that it had been raining that day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe the print was made that day. And I so we go up there, we're looking around, and as I'm going back, it starts to rain. So I'm like, oh, we gotta get this print done. So it was whatever it was, it had been there for a little bit, and I think the rain just kind of didn't really add to it. It started making that area, and as you went to the right a bit, it got a little, but it's only about if it's got a 3.5 foot stride, just to the right of that track, there seems to be more rocky area. And you can even see that in this picture where I'm mixing plaster, this is kind of the area it leads into.
That's New York, Robert.
Yeah. And you can see, it's pretty hard ground.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that little area where there seems to be a trough. That
is this like a pullout, or is this actually a road?
It's a very I don't know what. Actually, I was photographing prints as we were. So I mean, there was areas of mud, but the direction it was only like a very small area of. And see, to me, it looked like, not to mention the depth of this. That's what impressed me more than anything else. This was very deep.
Now, if you zoom back out there, that area off the heel there, that almost looks like the front of a boot.
Yeah, that one does over here, like somebody stepped over.
Somebody stepped on the track,
or the track stepped on the human print and.
No, the one on the lower left there we're looking at, that was definitely made on top of the track. See, it's where it's caved in the lower left.
So someone stepped on it.
Yeah. Somebody stepped on that.
Yeah, and so there is a human depth, and you can see there's the
it's quite a bit of difference.
It's foot shape, but there's no indication that shouts out footprint to me. I don't see any toe impressions there at all.
Well,
at least not by the photograph.
Right. What I was looking at is this. You see these cuts in here?
Yeah.
And this is what really impressed me, was right here. Right in this section here, because you can see the dirt and you see what appears to be a toe to me, and then there's another.
There's a ridge between the toes.
There's a ridge between the toe
there. Where the toe area looks like, yeah.
And that and then you kind of see a similar start of a formation there, and then there seems to be another one over there. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, that's one of the things about footprints. You can't say unless you saw the creature actually make the track. But
when I
like it or dislike it, I like this one.
When I see that,
it's interesting. It certainly is. Yeah. Could you zoom out again, please? Zoom out. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I still wonder why it's a lone track. It seems to me.
Well, like I said,
more than one. Yeah.
Right, but the literal, you see the rock right here?
Yes.
Okay, so this area just starts rocks.
It's all rocks.
It's all rock, compacted rock, like where my truck was parked.
Yeah.
Because my truck is literally to the. If you were to take where the tire is here and you were to go this way, that's where the track was.
Was anything seen off the road, like in the grass and in the ferns behind you, and such?
Well, behind us, and if I can get that picture back out. I'm just trying to. Going forward, as you can see, this is all rock in here too.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was trying to confirm.
Yeah, and it's all kind of rocky in there, and that's why when we heard the rock throw, which would now from where we were probably about 25-30 feet going in this direction here. To where the rock was thrown.
Now, I can't tell from that picture, what's the direction of travel? In other words, which way is the front of the footprint pointing?
The front of the footprint is pointing this way.
It's pointing onto the road.
Correct. Like it was crossing the road almost.
Okay.
Like it was moving from this area across the road into the other side of the forest.
Okay.
And there was on the other side, a wide shot. On the other side, as you can see, it's very where the direction was actually headed was kind of like in this direction. But as you can see, there was no give or take on that road at all. And then it's very, very hard clay. And for whatever reason, this was a, kind of like a trough area where
it had to have accidentally stepped in a spot where you had some sediment that had washed down into a low-lying area, and everything else was probably looks like pretty sturdy substrate there.
Exactly. And I am so honored to have you looking at this and giving me some input on this.
Well, it's fascinating, but I wouldn't jump and automatically assume Sasquatch is responsible for it.
Right.
Yeah. There could be other explanations for it, but I wouldn't discount it either. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what I had to go based on knowing there was a sighting within that park before. The sighting in 2018 of the roadside nearby, and then there was another sighting within 5 miles of that one, a little further to the south of the 2018 sighting.
No, it's daylight here. Was this the next morning or something that these pictures were taken?
No, this was taken a week before. This was taken on this was taken on September 5th.
Oh, okay.
When we went to the mountain, it was actually September 26th. It was actually a few weeks later.
Oh, okay. So it was afterwards, close by the rock incident happened.
Right. Yeah, the rock and the wood knock. That happened after this. We didn't find this after. So this was found before. It piqued my interest that, okay, I'm going to take a crew up there at night and see what happens.
And this is a Whitehall area that has a history of those.
No, this is actually Whitehall is Washington County. This is probably, give or take, about 35 miles southwest of Whitehall.
Well, that's still close.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, it's kind of funny. The witness and I had been talking quite a bit, and he is so interested into this. He's like, and he's discovering things that I've already kind of figured out too. Is that there seems to be like a corridor where they could travel very unimpeded from Whitehall to this area, or from the further north, because there's been sightings in Warren County as well. They could also travel quite unimpeded to this area, like areas like Lake Luzerne, Lake George, north of there, where there's been sightings on the other side of Lake George.
What was the length of the print?
It wasn't a big hefty one. Let's pull that up. I'm pretty sure we can take a look here. So it was give or take. It was, it was probably about
just under a foot.
About a foot. Between here to here. So I would say about a foot. So it wasn't like an extremely large print, but it was very wide, and that's what kind of struck me. It was about 4.5 inches wide, I would say, at the heel width. At the toe splay would be
at the ball of the foot would.
Yeah, the toe splay was about 5 inches there. So, and again, it's not an area where we have a lot of bear, and I didn't see that. Does it look like a bear over? It did not kind of look like a bear overstep to me, and that's always my first call. Is this something where a paw and a paw? But the weight distribution, even in the wet, you're only getting prints, like I say, humans maybe that depth. And if you look at my foot over there at that point in time, it wasn't making much of an impression at all.
Yeah, the width at the ball,
this was. Go ahead, Chris.
The width at the ball is doable for a human, and that's very possible. The width at the heel is pushing it a little bit, but it's still doable. Just barely. Okay,
I mean that's a wide foot for the.
It's length. A wide foot, yes.
Yeah. Now, in your opinion, is it a track of some kind and not some like where a rock or a couple of rocks were pulled out of the ground.
Well, I have looked at that too.
Because what interests me is if you zoom out again, is that mound of earth in the upper on left of the track.
Yeah.
Along there.
Yeah.
Usually when a footprint goes down, it doesn't raise a mountain range like that. But when something is pulled out of the ground that's been there for a while, it does.
Right. And I like I said, I had thought about that too, but it may have been a little muddier at the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And what I was looking at too is this. And, the reason why is usually you'll see softer dirt, and it looks like this has all been kind of like the leaf matter has been pressed into the ground.
Biological matter.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Did debris inside look like it had been compressed or removed, or what did it do?
It looks like it's been compressed in.
Okay, well that would be the indication that something was placed there, i.e., a foot.
Yeah. And I'm very forensic when it comes to prints too, and I'm a stickler about it. And I'm like I don't see the typical crook, the angling you see on an overstep. I look for stuff that was pulled out. Well, and usually when you see something pulled out, you get a complete rounding of dirt around it. And
I see two boot prints to the left of it. There, one at the bottom.
Right. Yeah.
And one a little further up. So
yes.
So
the thing I liked about this track, Thomas, but the size, is doable for human comparison with somebody wearing a big wide wader type boot or overshoe type boot. But up at the front of the track, there's a pull up there, and it's kicked forward some earth, and
the two partial boot prints, you can almost see at least a slight indication of the pattern of the bottom of the footwear.
Right.
But in this, there doesn't seem to be any pattern, like no bottom of the tread. Pattern. No.
There's a better overhead shot.
Okay.
So, so it's almost, if you were to measure that out, I mean, it basically stepped right over the mud. It just stepped once into this thing and stepped onto the hard gravel, which starts right about there.
Let's see.
And it's kind of.
Is that called? Let's see. That's push? No, wait a minute. Kick or push? At the front is a kick, I think, and in the back would be push. On the track. Well, something is kicked up the front of the track when it lifted its foot or whatever was there. And the brain is not working at the moment. You can,
and this made sense to me. Like as the mid-tarsal bray comes in around here, as it pushes off, it may send some debris this way. It looked to me, it's like it stepped in and it kicked off, pushed the dirt forward when it came in, and then as it stepped out, it pushed this out backward.
It could be like mid-tarsal break is usually most indicated when it appeared that whatever made the track was actually moving at a pretty good clip. When it made the track, when it's standing still, like it was when Patterson cast the first two, it's rather flat-footed. Yeah.
So that's what we got going on up in Lincoln Mountain, and I'm really excited to get back there. This is gonna go.
What did you use to cast it with? Plaster of Paris, or are you more advanced?
Well, I had plaster on me. So unfortunately,
don't feel bad, Steve. I still use the plaster of Paris method too.
And unfortunately, I let it cure for an hour, and it still didn't cure right. So the back end of it didn't do so well.
Oh, okay.
Always
give it an hour and a half. Yeah.
It was just so wet there, and that was the other issue we had. And it was I put like this canvas top on top of it, trying to keep it out of the rain while it was curing, and it was just. But it is what it is, and I was more, I felt more comfortable about the evidence that we had gotten when we had done the live.
Another question I had: how far was this in the rock throwing incident from where you said the fellow's name was Pat?
No, his name. The witness.
Yes.
Give or take, it's about 3 to 5 miles.
Okay.
From where he had his
That's
roadside.
still pretty close, yeah.
Right, and there is a tributary stream that runs from Route 9 up to this mountain. So that's another reason why it kind of made a lot of sense. If it was traveling this creek bed where this stream is, it would lead it up into this area, or it came down from this area when Pat had seen it. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the reasoning behind being there. Like, okay, obviously it wasn't going to be on the west side or rather the east side of Route 9. If it's hanging out anywhere, it's going to be on the west side. And knowing that there was a sighting, in that park at one time, some years ago, it was like, okay, it's probably, no, actually, while I was working on the track, it was daylight. There was, when we had found it, we were up there by ourselves. Me and Sherry Actually, Sherry found the track. She's the one who said, "Hey, look at this." And I was like, "Oh my goodness." So we had said, "Okay, I got to go home," and because I didn't have anything in my trunk. It was a brand new vehicle. So I said, "Okay, let me go home, get the plaster out of the garage." And so, got the supplies, ran back up there. It started to rain. And then we get up there, and this guy just, as you can see, just narrowly missed the track driving in. And that would have been horrible had he driven over it. And it was a couple of hunters, and they were getting ready for coyote hunting.
Well, you guys, were you getting a lot of rain that night? It was
two
before.
Yeah, it was very rainy, and
that track looks pretty washed out, dude. I mean, it's been exposed to some elements.
It had been raining, I think, the night before, and the day before, and we went up because, hey, it's not raining right now, and then all of a sudden, we start to go back, and it starts to rain very lightly.
Yeah,
and it was like very drizzly on and off during the day that day. So, I just don't know how to explain it, but it was really cool. And to go up there and then get an unsolicited tree knock, and it wasn't the temperature, I think, was probably around 48, 50 degrees that night. Yeah. So it's not going to be any, like I know factually, because I live in the woods, that, when I've gone out to my, my vehicle or whatever, and I've heard trees, pop because of cold weather. And but it was nowhere near any temperature to make a tree pop. Not at 48, 50 degrees at night. Usually that happens when it starts to creep down to like 10 degrees, 20 degrees, stuff like that. And I've walked down to my vehicle, and it sounds like a tree not coming, right now, within 30 feet of me, and it's just a tree going, expanding and contracting.
Yeah.
And so you got to be cognizant of that, and especially if you're out in the woods in wintertime.
Yeah, if it's below freezing, guys, don't go out and into the woods listening for wood knocks.
Yeah.
You'll hear some, but you won't
hear something, man.
Yeah, you'll hear something.
So,
how long does coyote season last for?
I really don't know. I'm not a hunter.
Okay.
But when coyote season ends, then they start. I think bow season for turkey, and then after turkey comes after that period of time. Then there's deer season, and
I don't know, Steve. I mean, are they considered a pest in New York, or do you know? Because I think in Kentucky, now that's been a long time since I went out shooting coyotes, but I think in Kentucky they were considered a pest. So it was pretty much, anytime you see one, pop it.
Well, there is a definitive coyote season.
Okay.
But if they're a nuisance, you can kill one under a nuisance. It's not like you can go to a state park and pop one off. out of season.
No.
But if they're in your yard and they're creating a nuisance, that's fine.
Yes. Over at Mammoth Cave, we can't even kill a rattlesnake or a copperhead if you see one. You're not supposed to anyway.
Right. Yep.
Don't do it. That's one of the hardest things in my life is to walk away and leave a poisonous snake alive.
Chris hates snakes.
Well, not all snakes. Now, poisonous snakes, the ones that can bite you and make your leg rot off. Yes, I really do dislike those. But,
So I'm under the impression, Tom, and I think that area definitely warrants further investigation.
Obviously. Oh, absolutely. There's a long history in that, and incidents happen, and you experience them yourselves. Keep going there and keep searching.
Yep. Amen. So what's new with the great Mr. Steenburg? What's been going on?
Oh hell, we're just recovering from those horrible slides. All last month, we're basically opening up. The Coquihalla Highway apparently is going to be reopened to official traffic at the end of December. I don't know when it'll be open in general, but there's still a big gap out, and the Trans-Canada Highway is also missing a big gap somewhere north of Anderson Bridge. We were totally cut off there for a while. Lake Sumas, I believe, is gone again. They managed to get rid of all the water there, and that's what they'll say until the next time it happens.
Wow.
I mean, that whole area used to be a big lake back in the 1920s that they drained. So anytime something like this happens and the pumping station doesn't work properly, the lake tends to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's when you live in mountain country, that's what you got to deal with: landslides, things like that, and it can be hell here. And of course, this latest COVID outbreak, the border's getting all the things we just got taken off have just been put back on. If I want to go south of the border to look at something, I got to take an extra $300 with me to get a COVID test before I can come back.
Wow.
And of course, they know people won't do that. So,
yeah.
So they can say they haven't officially closed the border, but they're making it so many hoops and expensive hoops to jump through that they know you won't do it. So, it's just been a mess here. Just been a mess here. Sasquatch-wise, it's been very quiet this winter so far. Mostly, I'm hearing about things people saw 5 years ago, 4 years ago, things like that.
Yeah. And again, Chris, we're under an ad suitability review for this episode.
Well, I wonder why that is.
Because for whatever reason you mentioned the word Bigfoot in an episode, probably. I just don't get it.
Maybe it's a beef jerky thing. I don't.
I don't know. Maybe it's a Christmas tree thing. I
don't know. Well, that's okay.
Now, around the time you were looking at these tracks in September, I was looking into a gentleman claimed he thought a Sasquatch was swimming in the lake around where his boat is docked in a marina near Harrison Hot Springs and Harrison Lake. And I spent a number of nights out there. Well, he snuck away, actually, and spent a couple of nights out there listening because he was reporting rocks coming and flying. But I could say when I was there, nothing happened. So, yeah.
But yeah, Joe from Western New York Bigfoot, he's chomping at the bit to get out to where that area is. And I know Mike is probably again too. Should be a lot of fun. There it is. Coyote hunting, New York, October to March.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. They were coyote hunting in September. I can tell you that much. Somebody was popping off guns on September 26th.
Tell me, were those gunshots during the day or at night?
Those were at night.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I'm not a hunter, so I've never.
Don't know. In New York, in Kentucky, yeah. Get your red light.
In New York, yeah, as long as you're not shooting from a vehicle. Yeah.
That used to be fun. I mean, back in the days before I married a Buddhist, I enjoyed going coyote hunting. It was fun. But, after being married to somebody that doesn't believe in stepping on a worm or a bug.
Yeah.
She kind of frowns on that sort of thing.
I wonder if the angry Santa is the reason why.
It could be. I don't know.
And like Don said, you had a commercial when the show started. Yeah, we were monetized when the show started, and always in the middle of the show when our counts get high, we're gonna limit it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. That's okay.
That's all right. Cheapskates.
Yeah, and OT is standing up for snakes. Okay, what is it? Okay. Chris, those are venomous only. Only one poisonous snake in the world, the keel tiger back snake. Well, okay, yeah, OT, yeah, that's just semantics. Venomous snakes, I don't like them.
I don't blame you. They can ruin your day.
Yep.
I'm
just lucky in British Columbia we don't have any.
Oh man, I am so jealous.
Well, that's not true. In the West Coast, we don't have any. In Central British Columbia, we got rattlesnakes. But yeah.
Patty Troy says, maybe YouTube is scared you'll say Santa is a hoax.
Santa is a hoax.
What do you mean?
I found that out when I was 9 years old.
I'm pretty sure Santa's real.
Nope, he's a hoax, and I explained it on Nikki's show tonight.
Oh.
All I wanted, actually, I was 8 years old. All I wanted was a new Montreal Canadiens hockey jersey to replace the one I was outgrowing. Oh. And there was that package. I knew the new jersey was in there. Christmas morning, instead of the Montreal Canadiens jersey I hoped for, I got the blue and white jersey of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I know Santa wouldn't do that.
Oh, I know what it is.
My father would.
I know what it is, Thomas. I know what it is. And I hate to tell you this because I don't want you to reflect back at your childhood and second guess. But Santa Claus comes and visits good children. And not all children are good. But parents
I was kind of a little bad.
Parents love their children. Parents love their children, and they don't want their children to feel left out, even if they were bad. So,
but my father loved me, but he was a big Toronto Maple Leaf fan. I know he did that to me on purpose.
Maybe he did get you the right jersey, but Krampus came and switched him.
Oh. You got to be evil to replace a Montreal Canadiens sweater with a Toronto Maple Leaf one. I got to tell you.
And one thing you never say in a chat room, in a Canadian chat room, is that you do not like hockey. I like hockey, so don't worry. But don't ever say that.
That's almost anti-religion. That is.
That's like saying I tried the poutine and hated it. Yeah.
Isn't like if you live in Canada, isn't like one of the mandatory gifts you get for Christmas is like a hockey stick or something? Because you guys like live and breathe and are so good at hockey.
Well, that's the national sport and well, the national religion, really.
Mm.
But it's more popular here than everything else put together.
Yeah.
In the U.S., you guys love everything, but hockey is like football and baseball combined up here. Yeah.
Very violent sport.
It's hockey.
Here comes the wise guys. Hockey, what's that? Hooky.
Yeah, I played hooky a lot when I was.
What is hockey, eh?
Oh, you guys.
Yeah.
Evil people. Evil.
But I've watched some hockey games before, and I've seen those guys get slammed into the wall, and I'm like, oh my God.
Or Molson.
And my team is really crappy this year, the worst they've ever seen. So, oh well. To get back to that area that you want to concentrate on, I'd say go for it. Keep going. Yep. There's got to be something going on around there, just from the long history and stuff. And if you're getting activity around you when you go out, keep those cameras handy, man.
And we have a fellow Canadian in the room saying Those are fighting words.
Oh, you guys.
Posers. Now that was strange, boo. Hockey's that's like figure skating mixed with MMA, isn't it?
That would be a good definition. It really would.
What? Yeah. What do you get when you cross MMA with figure skating? Hockey.
Hockey is figure skating with attitude.
That's right. Did you, while we're at it, did you see that documentary about, I forget the name of it, but I watched it. It was about these guys that were like enforcers on this semi-pro team. And they were huge. Semi-pro hockey is huge in Canada as well. And
you remember the movie Slapshot?
Yep.
You remember the big goon everyone was afraid of that came in the last game? The guy
Absolutely.
named Ogie Oglethorpe?
Yep.
You know he was real?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was actually going to play himself in that movie, but he punched out Paul Newman's brother and he got fired, so they had to have an actor come and play him. Yeah.
But there is a job on a hockey team as the enforcer. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know that. So if somebody does something out of line by the other team, it's the enforcer's job to go up there and,
make them pay. Yeah.
Make them pay. Yeah. And,
like Dave Saminkle used to be Wayne Gretzky's bodyguard. So,
yeah. And this is great. Bigfoot New York Todd says Canadians are so nice, but not on ice.
That's right. There's two places you'll never find a polite Canadian: the hockey rink and the battlefield.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you say, Chris? We start giving away some books.
That sounds good.
All right. So, I think what we're going to do is we are going to roll the dice, and this is how we're going to play this game. Of course, I'm going to say this, Mr. Steenburg, throw me your Addy on a PM, and you're getting a complimentary book tonight for coming on, and I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, well, no problem. Thank you.
And now I got to do, once we're done, I got to order the books. So it's probably going to be about 6 weeks before you get your books.
Yeah, it won't be before Christmas, guys. So
yeah, it won't be.
Even longer with that with the COVID going on.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that, Amazon has been using COVID as an excuse to nullify their 2-day shipping, even when before this new variant even came out when everybody was back to work. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do is we got 5 dice here, and it's going to be Chris's job, and we're going to go up from the bottom. So when I roll the dice, count up from the bottom.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody hold your comments.
Well, yes, we got another troll in the inning. Barry. Okay. And boom. They are done.
Alrighty.
So here we go. So the first roll of the dice. Okay, Chris, you got a large count here.
Okay.
So we got 21. Okay. We got 2 5s, a 6, and a 4, and a 1. So that's 21.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh God, I can't count that high. Nobody type, please. I'm starting at Harryman Hoaxes and Hoodwinks, where she said, "Pick me, pick me." 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh crap! It just jumped again. Guys, try not to hit the chat for just a second. Let me count this out. 1, 2.
Dun, dun, dun.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
I think I got the same one.
20, 21. Okay, I'm looking at is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. So there you go. And I don't have to mail that one out.
Both socks, 3113.
So, and the beauty is I don't have to mail that one out. I know who he is.
You know who that is?
I know who that is.
This is not an inside job, is it now?
I just rolled the dice.
Yeah,
Not favoritism.
I understand.
That's
So,
okay. We still got 4 more books to give away.
Both socks, 31, 13. Now, what do they need to do, Steve? They need to contact you at Squatch Detective.
Yep. It's tickering on. It's tickering on the bottom. Okay, Chris, you want to pull that comment off?
Okay.
So, and OT says it's okay if you take off your shoes. Lord knows I do. I do anything for over 10, much less 21.
Let me write this down before it gets away from me.
So Chris is keeping the official tally. That's right. Oh, wow. Patrick Collins is surprised they still teach counting in Kentucky.
They don't, Patrick. I lived in New Mexico for a while and I learned there. Well,
what we're going to do is on the next roll, we're going to we're going to freeze the chat at wherever it says and freeze it by meaning we're going to count up from, excuse me, like if say Robert Walker makes the last post, we'll put it up so we know where to count up from.
Okay.
We'll do it that way.
Yeah.
This is a lot easier than trying to put everybody's name in a hat and then.
Well, I know that it's hard for people not to comment, and wait for me to count. But when I'm scrolling them up and somebody makes a new comment when I'm counting, it popped up, made the chat jerk. So I have to start all over, guys. You're killing me.
and mind you guys.
But I love you.
This is for the book, The Sasquatch Playbook.
Yeah.
So this is my latest one.
We do one. You gonna do another one now, or are you gonna wait?
Well, I want to ask Tom. Tom, when's your next book coming out?
Oh hell, I have no idea, mate. I have no plans for another one in the near future.
Okay.
I think I've said all I can.
I mean, sometimes you do, and my last book. That's why it took me so long between the one book and the other book. It took me a while to kind of come up with some more ideas because otherwise you get kind of repetitive and stuff. Even then, some of the stuff I had covered in my previous book, but it was a little more fine-tuned and a little more information.
And if you're in the chat and you hadn't commented in a while, just say hello. Just type something.
Yeah, look at Lester ABC now.
Oh, now, come on, Lester. You can't see the chat, Lester. Come on, let's be fair.
All right. Do we want to do another book? We want to roll out because the Chris said hello. Em and Chris said hello for like the 8th time today.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently Don didn't see my comment. Where did Don? No, probably not because.
Yeah. Steve's got a handful of dice, and usually there's money involved when he starts rolling dice. So
that's because I'm from. So, and just remember that I'm playing with 5 dice. So, five dice. So, Chris said, wait about 15 more comments. That's probably true. But they're coming at a furious pace.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't typed in a while, just, type something. Just, hey, hi, whatever.
Now, the money comes last. The money comes
last. Yeah. We will be giving away $100. And I think you really need to have a PayPal account, so this will be instantaneously. You'll receive it tonight. No waiting for that. So
cash money for Christmas spending?
Cash money, baby. Cash money.
Buy yourself a present.
Yes.
That's right. Patrick Collins said Yahtzee. And it's really cool that we're a little off topic tonight, Yeah. This is the way we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And, I don't know, Tom and Chris, 2021 has been a tough year. Surprisingly, we thought 2020 was a flub. 2021 wasn't much better.
No, both years suck.
Yeah. Everybody was complaining, and there was even a little documentary made about 2020 and how bad it was, how terrible it was. But you know what? 2021 seems like it has been worse than 2020. I don't think it. To me, it's not been better at all.
No.
And now you've got in 2020 we had COVID. Now we've got super COVID or whatever.
We got Omicron.
Yeah. We have whatever. Man,
first it was first we have the Delta variant. Sounds kind of easy. Then you get Omicron, which sounds like ominous.
So that's like three ways COVID can kill you. So when you die from COVID now, you got three choices. Well, was it the Delta? Was it the Omicron? Or was it the original strain?
Thank you to Johnny Diggs. He just threw in a $5 super chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. That's very nice of you.
Appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So here we go. Omicron.
I got to mute now.
See, I got Christmas by throwing a
new mic picks up everything. I'm sure you guys are hearing the dogs bark in the background too. Sorry.
No, not really. Not at all.
Okay.
No. So here we go. We got to get some grease for that chair, though.
Is it squeaky? Can you hear it? Do you hear the squeak, really? Oh, man, I'm sorry. Well, if it probably wouldn't strain it on its limit for carrying weight, I'd probably be all right. But poor chair.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Rolling. Okay, this one now, of course, I got to add. We got 2 3s, 2 2s, and a 5. So that's 6, 10, 15. Now 15 up from Hello from B. Lynn. So that was the last one. So it's going to be 15 up from that one.
Okay. Now we're going to start with bees or go one like with grasshoppers?
One with grasshopper.
Yep. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
15 is?
B. Lynn.
Hey, B wins.
B, did you plan that? I mean, guys, I promise you, that was not planned. That's so funny. Start counting with B's comment and then get B's comment up there.
Well, B, you can.
Congratulations, B.
Congratulations, B. You can throw me a Facebook message because I know.
Yeah.
She's not. I know her real identity, by the way, but I won't ever see her. She PM'd me on Facebook. She goes, by the way, I'm B. Lynn on YouTube.
Or B, you can contact Steve at his email address, which is scrolling on the screen. Oh, you guys.
Look.
And I'll tell you what we're going to have to do too, Steve.
Nikki put some porcupines up.
Yeah. We're going to have to do one. Let's wait a little while before we roll the dice again. Wait a little while. And we'll do one from the top. We'll start with the very first comment and then go down. Okay? We'll do it that way. Because there might be some people that that are sitting back in a chair listening to it on TV or something other, hadn't been to their computer in a few minutes. And I know how that is, guys. I know, believe me.
So Thomas, even after all that activity we had, I'm going to share a video file with everybody just for fun while we're waiting for the next drawing. I just want to make sure I get the right file. Actually, you know what? I can, there it is. Give me 1 second, guys. So Thomas, you probably didn't see this little clip from our show. This was after the tree knock and the wood knock. And Mike and I returned to the base camp to take over at the podium, and this happens. Let's get that in there. Loading.
To get I'll get the other inflatable that we have out. Any other questions there from the audience? So it's a good thing it's beach ball.
Obviously, a Sasquatch did that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a rock. Oh, Mike, we love you.
And of course, Steve knows the real identity of the first two winners. Anyone get that license plate? Anyone get a look at the driver? Of course, another Naked Gun reference.
Yeah.
Anyone see the driver? Anyone get the license? But I love Mike, and I don't know where Mike is tonight.
Yeah, come on, Mike. Of all nights, not to be in the chat. Come on, dude.
Well, Mike's like, don't worry about it. I have all the books. I know.
Yeah.
Pat in chat goes, it takes a real man to admit they have inflatables. But, and that's the thing, you got to have fun when you go out.
Of course.
If you're not doing that, you're missing the whole point of, because there's, like I said, a bad day of squatching where you get nothing. It's a good day of camping or a good day of being outdoors. And
absolutely. If you love the outdoors and love a mystery, the two just go hand in hand.
Yep.
Oh, that's very well said, Thomas. That is very well said, because most people think they go out into the woods, they're going to see Bigfoot. No, it don't work that way, hon. Well, you got to be in the woods, yeah.
Absolutely. Don asked if he can bring his rock throwing apparatus if I come out for night vision. I'm almost worried to say what that is. It may be like a tennis ball thrower, except he puts rocks in them and it shoots rocks.
I don't know. That would be interesting. I wouldn't want to get into a rock throwing contest with a Bigfoot.
Well, so far they seem to be very bad shots.
Or very good shots.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean,
yeah, that could be entirely me. We always say, well, a Sasquatch is such a great shot that they, they'll miss us just by this much or, by a few feet. Maybe they're just bad shots. Maybe they're trying to hit us.
I've only heard one rock hit around me back in 2010, and it was nowhere. It wasn't near me. Okay, it was. You could tell this was like 100 yards away. And it sounded, when it hit the tree, man, you could tell that had some power behind it. So I would not want something like that to hit me in the head. That would suck.
Me, I've been in the receiving end of one very interesting rock throwing incident, and a number of times I have caught hoaxers because that's one of the basic things they do is throw rocks.
Throw rocks.
Yeah, and catch you not looking and then pitch something. Yeah.
And literally that night that we had the rock throwing incident, it was just me and Mike and the two ladies up at the top, Michelle and Sherry. So they were nowhere near us. I mean,
no, everybody had eyes on them.
Yeah. And the next time we went up, we had some eye shine activity, which we couldn't really explain. But really didn't catch much on any of the equipment that night. We could see it. We actually, the field team, the remote team had the equipment and they were down the hill. And meanwhile, up at the base camp where me and Tim were at, we kept hearing something. So we started shining. We actually got up from the base camp and let the remote team kind of narrate the show for a little bit. And we went out and we were seeing eye shine off in the distance. And it could have been anything. It could have been a deer. It could have been whatnot. But whatever it was checking us out. And it took off pretty fast. And I know Tim was a little shook by it. And Tim's the hunter. Tim's a lifelong hunter. He's 74 years old and hunted all his life. Never saw a Bigfoot, but doesn't discount the possibility. And he was like, I can't explain. I've never saw that in his lifetime, hunting like that. So that was pretty interesting. But
well, I don't want to start a feud, but because both of you guys have been on Monster Quest. But now somebody in the chat earlier, and I don't remember who, you guys can correct me, but somebody in the chat had shouted out that they enjoyed Thomas. They enjoyed Thom Steenburg's Monster Quest episode. They thought it was the best one. Thomas, you want to talk a little bit about that?
I was on two.
No offense taken.
Okay.
None taken.
I was on two of them, but I think the one he's referring to is the one on Vancouver Island.
Right.
I think they called it Ape Island or something like that.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, that was 2009. We were going to an island off the main Vancouver Island called Wells Gray Island, which there are no people on. And it's all covered in old growth forest. It's never been touched. And what a place that was to look and do research. I mean, we took a whole bunch of clams with us, and we laid out clam traps. But there's a definitely healthy bear population on this island, and even though we didn't see one, we saw their tracks and their scat all over the place. So we really had to be careful. And we thought we heard a thumping noise once when we were doing a night scan from the boat. A thumping noise. Now, I wouldn't even call it a tree knock. It was a thumping noise of some kind. It was more like good doing like that on your chest. But we didn't see anything, and that's the problem. So we don't see it. We don't claim anything. And the camera traps we set up picked up nothing. You may recall at the end of the program, it almost gives you the impression we had something because we caught it on one of those cameras.
Right.
It shows me and Rick Knoll looking at it and said, there's something there, Well, it didn't show you in the program, but later on we figured it out. It was me going to check on the camera.
Oh.
That's what the camera picked up.
Oh.
But they kind of didn't know that by the time the show aired. But yeah. I mean, they were. It was kind of funny. They said, Thomas, go check the cameras. You coming? Nope.
Nope.
So I went and checked the cameras. And when I came back, they said, okay, now we'll go with you. So when you actually see me on the film actually checking the camera traps, that was the second time. They wouldn't come with me the first time. I guess the idea was if I make it back, they know it's okay.
Yeah.
But that's why, and we figured that image that was picked up was me in the darkness approaching it the first time, and that's what the camera picked up. And because I didn't have my lights on or anything like that, that's what it picked up.
Right.
And but that was a fascinating area to go to, and all up and down along that road that goes along the Kennedy River, where that fellow said he saw it out in the log, but he assumed it was fishing, trying to catch fish because the salmon run there is quite extensive. And that was an interesting area. Never found anything. Of course, we're there months after his sighting actually took place, so didn't really expect to find anything. But it was an interesting area to go to look for tracks and stuff. Of course, the only alleged possible footprint we found was at the beginning of that trail, and it was very, very faint. Barely make it out. And they filmed us looking at that. But that was a very interesting trip. Yeah, it was. It was called, I think it's called Mysterious Ape Island, as I recall. That was in early December of 2009.
Yeah.
And on Vancouver Island. And I tell you, that area around Defino, there's a history of reports all up and down the Kennedy River there. It's beautiful old growth forest. If the Sasquatch does exist, there's no doubt in my mind they're in the woods of Vancouver Island. Yeah.
Well, that was, that's one of my favorite episodes too. I'll tell you what, the Monster Quest show, the Bigfoot episodes of the Monster Quest show was some of my favorite stuff. And I've watched them all so many times that it's after a while, it just kind of, it blands together. I loved them all.
Oh, we did pick up at one point of an interesting heat signature on a tree. You know, if this thermal device is so sensitive that if you lean against a tree, your thermal image is still on the tree a good 9-10 minutes after you go.
Yeah.
And there was this mark left on this tree that was way over my head. I mean, it was much taller than I was. Again, for some reason, I'm the one that had to go forward towards it, but stay back and film. And you can see the mark on the tree right above, way above my head. I think it was about 10 feet up. But what it was, like something, Rick thought something popped out in the trail behind us, and that's where that mark was.
Yeah.
But we never really got a good look at it, so I have no idea.
Well, you said something a few minutes ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Man, you go ahead.
So, and yeah, I wanted to, somebody asked a question, where'd it go? Please put questions in caps, just so we can spot them easily. There it is. Robert Walker asked, did that episode have the tree upside down in it?
No.
Okay.
No, not that episode. By the way, I think those upside down inverted trees were done by people.
Right.
Yeah. If they're the ones I'm thinking of. There's two things the logging companies always do. One, they like to play jokes on each other. And two, they like to they use them as markers. There probably was the one by the roadside, the logging road, probably once had a sign saying this cut this way, this cut that way.
Right.
When the work is done, they take away the signs but leave the tree. And three, there's an area where there's a lot of them because they found out eagles were using those upturned trees to make nests in, so they're kind of helping out the eagle situation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That would be good. Yeah.
Another question was, have you been to Snow Grove Lake?
Yeah. No. I was in that episode, but I was not in the expedition that actually went to the lake. That's Northern Ontario. And by the way, there is a First Nation community on that lake. They tried to make it sound like there was nobody around for miles. There is a small community just off the river that leads into Snow Grove Lake. And I have to say this, and don't mean to be unpolitically correct, but that's the way I am, filled with angry young men who like to destroy things owned by whitey. So
well, that's interesting.
That's my explanation for what happened at that house at Snow Grove Lake.
That's interesting. I mean, I could agree that the area is remote, but with the First Nations people there, it's definitely not unpopulated.
No. It's rare. Most of the cabins around that lake are summertime cabins only, or skidoors or snow machine, and people go up there in the off season in the wintertime because the winters in Ontario are brutally cold. But it's great if you're a winter outdoor enthusiast, skidoos, cross-country skiing, that kind of thing. But most of the activity on that lake by the non-First Nation community is usually the summertime. Mostly fishing and hunting. Yeah,
that's good information to know. That kind of changes my outlook on that whole episode now. After learning this, thank you. But before I forget, don't let it go. You said something earlier, Tom, that intrigued me, and it was about the clams. You guys took clams with you.
Yes.
And I have a question about that because I have seen, and a lot of others have seen, in this area, in the middle of the rivers, there are small islands that are dry. Okay, they usually stay dry unless the river gets up, and sometimes you'll see piles, with stacks of clam shells there, and I always wondered if that was could be Bigfoot or Sasquatch related. Do you think
it also could be bears, raccoons, and everything else that eats clams? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we use clams, because there's been a lot of reports of Sasquatch spotted on the beaches digging for clams.
Right.
And
do you think? Do you think? Well, of course, I'm asking for a theory here. So, do you think they would tend to pile those up in piles if they were eating them, or just pitch them where they would go?
Either or. It all depends on how many clams are there and what they're doing with them. Yeah.
Right.
Like I can tell you now, the 2 clam traps we set out were not touched by anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's because you didn't leave any cocktail sauce.
Well, what got me about the little piles of clamshells on the islands in Kentucky is there's no evidence of tool marks to open them, but there's also, and they're split. Okay, they're pulled apart. But if people are doing it and they're boiling them, okay, they're gonna, or cooking them in the fire, they're gonna open it up anyway. And it would be very easy for them to, once they've opened up, to scoop the clam out and just break the shell.
Yeah. Sorry, I just heard something outside.
Oh, jeez.
But no, I think there have been so many reports of them eating clams, and people have reported them. Thomas Seward once described a Sasquatch piling clams that he didn't see himself, but a fellow he knew saw this.
Right.
And on that show, we actually had a crew of a fishing boat tell us about how they were eating clams themselves. To describe them as cockles, that's a local term here.
Mm-hmm.
And they shone their spotlight on this ape-like thing that seemed to be digging for cockles on the beach. And that's why we decided to use clams for the bait. And and we even had a spray to put on it that if the clam was touched, it might leave a fingerprint or something on it. But as far as we could tell, none of our clam baits were touched while we were there. Of course, it's December. A lot of the bears are gone down by that time and things like that. More rain than anything else. No snow because it's the West Coast. Right. But for some reason, even raccoon, nothing touched those clams. Nothing. And there was bear scat all over the place, and they were not touched. And someone wrote on your comments. So does that mean the Snow Grove Lake rock throwing was hoaxing by local natives? I'd be more interested in what the people behind the cameras were doing at that moment.
Yeah. Don't know for sure. Yeah. There's no way to classify it as a hoax, but it does bring in.
I mean, even the silly shows like Finding Bigfoot. The one thing I've always admired about the crew, after the first year, half the people behind the cameras were let go because they were doing things they shouldn't be doing to try to make the episode more exciting.
Yep.
Now, the time we went out to Vancouver Island, those 3 guys who came up with that, they were great. No hoaxing on their part. Matter of fact, the guy who held the camera, I felt sorry for him. That camera weighed a ton. He had to carry this battery pack. He's following us all over the place with that thing. There was no hoaxing on their part, but that Snow Grove Lake, my first question would be, what was the camera, or the people that was not necessarily the expedition members, but what were the camera people doing behind the scenes? Yeah.
Well, the thing I liked about that episode was that how it was billed as being so remote.
Yeah.
And no other.
It is remote. It is. Yeah. It's a very remote place.
But
it's not totally deserted. No.
Not unpopulated.
Yeah.
Cockles, clams, and oysters. Cockles, clams, and oysters. Remember that from
Game of Thrones. Yeah,
you got it.
And by the way, a lot of people have asked this question.
Aria.
The nail board in that episode.
Yes.
That's standard common practice in remote areas in Canada. It's called a bear mat. You put these things in front of your doors and windows to keep the bears from clawing their way in. Yeah, when you're not around, or when you're around. I mean, people are smart enough to know that the board is there, but a bear usually doesn't impale itself. It feels in front of it. It feels something sharp and it won't go there, right?
Now, didn't they find blood on that?
Yes.
But they said they were going to analyze it, but
they did. And again, the results are rather iffy. Some people say it was contaminated. Some people say it showed something. All depends on who you talk to.
And Robert Walker asked the question, do you think Sasquatch migrates to follow the food source available and just not locally?
No, I don't, because here, like in areas in British Columbia, we have sightings every season, all year round. They don't seem to be common one time of the year and then somewhere else.
Whereas in the Whitehall area, our sightings peter off about December.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because of the difference in foliage. Like the Adirondacks, especially around Whitehall, a lot of, birch, maple, oak. So in the wintertime, they drop their leaves.
Yeah.
And sightings seem to pick up a little bit over in the Green Mountain State, over in Vermont.
Yeah.
And of course, you got the deciduous firs, gives more cover.
Right.
And the pine bark and pine needles also can be a source of nutrients as well.
And your winters are a lot worse than on the West Coast.
Yep.
You get a lot more snow than we do.
Yep.
Yeah. We get snow higher up, but when you get down to sea level, it's more rain than anything else. Constant rain. Yeah.
And when you look at primate behavior, look at the Aboriginal Native Americans or the First Nation folks, I'm sure that, they had their summer and winter homes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was to follow the food, basically, and maybe a little more climate-friendly area. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, absolutely, it's possible, but not in all areas. Like, if you find I see no reason for a Sasquatch, like in a southern area, necessarily needing to migrate because it's a temperate temperature the whole year round. Whereas when you have those extreme temperatures, yeah, you're going to get that. So it has a lot to do with temperature, I think, and weather.
And people who are out in actually wilderness areas in the wintertime tend to be a lot noisier than any other time of the year because they're snowshoeing, they're cross-country, or they're skidooing. They're usually making a lot of noise. So anything around knows you're there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the leaves off the trees, that sound actually travels even further a bit because there's less foliage to
You ready to roll with that, Steve?
I am getting ready. You can hear it.
I can hear him. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Let's do this. This one from the top.
Huh?
This one. Let's count this one from the top.
The top, way up top.
Oh yeah, I'm up there right now.
Oh, you're up there. Okay, so
top,
this one is
from the top down.
Top down. Well, there's a lot of new people in that have popped in since. So I don't know if let's do this one top down. We still got three more books to give away. We've only given away 2. So we got to get rolling on the rolls. Okay, here we go. And this one is going to be 16, 18, 21 again.
Okay.
We got 2 5s, a 6, a 2, and a 3.
Okay, starting from the StreamYard Streams Live, we're going to start with B. Lynn's comment is going to be number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay.
And there's Joe.
That's what I got, Steve. Double check me, babe.
That'd be kind of a chore for me.
Okay, hang on.
I never went in. You just did, son. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that who came up, or?
Yeah, you know what, Chris? Joe's going to get a book. Joe's going to get a book anyway. Joe's going to get a book anyway because he's a member of the field team.
Okay.
So let's roll again. Let's roll. Let's
you want to disqualify Joe?
I don't want to disqualify Joe.
Oh, Joe's already getting one.
I thought you brought him up because he was the winner.
Oh, you can't win twice, Joe. You're already a winner because you're going to get a book.
You're going to get a book anyway.
Yeah.
So,
but
I promised Joe a book the next time he comes up anyway. So
he's still included in the $100 deal.
He's still included in the $100.
Yeah, when we do that,
we'll do that. So let's you want to do from the top again, Chris, or you want to go from the bottom?
We need to do one from the top, dude, because we got to give some from the top. We got to do it.
Okay, here we go.
Somebody was in here early.
So we got 10, 15. We got a 1, 2. Look at that. See, if I was playing Yahtzee, I got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Large straight.
13, 14, 15. I'm in Chris.
You got yourself a book, man. So awesome. So Adam and Chris just hit me up at admin@squatchdetective.com and we can get that done for you. I know it's like Pat goes, "You sunk my battleship."
Next one will be from the bottom up, guys. So comment.
So at the panel, you're saying Bigfoot doesn't migrate. They've been doing it for years. We just don't know where they're.
Well, yeah, we're just that's.
There have been theories about migration since this began. I remember the late Renee and John talking like that, but the evidence just doesn't point to that, at least in my opinion.
Right in your area, and then you look, and again, it's depends on the climate of the area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all primates will migrate if the weather is really bad, except for those poor fools in Siberia, or Nepal, where they just dig it out, or we've learned to adapt, but due to technology. But if you look at the Native Americans, they had summer and winter homes, and they moved when the winters came. They moved to where the buffalo go. So
that's the prairie First Nations too. The West Coast, they basically stayed the same.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it could be very similar to the way Native Americans would move as well. Right. All right, here we go. Book number 4.
83.
Well, this is we got Bo Sox, B. Lynn, Am and Chris.
Okay,
so sorry. This is book number 4.
I didn't count you, B. I'm sorry.
All these Joe haters popping up. All right, here we go. We got 3 3s, a 2, and a 6. So that is 8-14 this time. So the number's
3 3s.
14 is the number. 3 3s, a 2. No, that's not.
3 3s.
9, 10, 11, 17. I'm sorry. 17. Thank you. I missed the 3. I missed a cue.
Okay. From where are we going to go?
From the bottom. From the bottom. Let's go from the bottom.
High five chaser. Okay.
High five
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Well, Donald Fuller.
Aha! I already have his address.
Aha!
So he gets the new book, which I promised him anyway.
Congratulations and Merry Christmas, Donald.
So, all right. That's book number 4. 1047.
Okay, you guys know you can only win one time, okay?
So let's give it a few more minutes.
Yeah.
And the $100 one, that's going to have everybody on the air. That's coming soon.
That's coming.
Just we got 13 minutes left to show, so that's coming up.
Get some comments in the chat, people. Come on.
This is getting suspicious.
I'm not doing the counting. I'm just doing the dice rolling.
Oh. No, come on, guys. I'm doing it right. I promise you.
I've been rooting for Nikki, but so far she hasn't come up.
Yeah, where the hell's Nikki been?
She's right there.
Oh, there she is. Yep. Mm-hmm. So any good Christmas plans for anybody here? Just the usual Christmas with family.
Not get COVID. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. To be alive would be a good Christmas. Other than that, we're good.
Well, go ahead, Tom.
I'm going to have Christmas dinner with a couple of friends in Chilliwack. Jerry, his wife Pauline, the head of the Bookquest crew, and other than that, there ain't much for me going on at all this season. No.
Oh, that's a good one. Let me put this up. For Thomas, is there a single compelling eyewitness whose story sticks with you?
Yes, I have what you call my favorites that I've looked into. One would have to be the Crandall Campground incident in Waterton Lakes National Park in 1988. And another I would have to say would have to be the two incidents that occurred in late July of 2008 on just off the highway here, where two witnesses saw a creature 4.5 hours apart, less than half a kilometer apart, and they didn't know about each other. And my favorite would have to be the Ballberg Creek incident, sighting and track finding of August of 1986.
You know, my sighting, the sighting that always stuck in my head was the Brian Goslin sighting from Whitehall. The police officer, and the second one was Dan Gordon, and that's because I've talked to both those guys, known those guys at length over the years, and their stories are just so compelling. And you know, Dan Gordon, the late Dan Gordon, God rest his soul, his story was so heartfelt. You know, it changed his life. And when you see that kind of reaction in a guy who's tough as Dan kind of get welled up with tears talking about it, that was pretty rough.
Yeah, Grasshopper just asked about his and Kirk's and the crew's sighting there at the gates of Sasquatch Park. That's on the list too. There, yeah, that was an intriguing one as well.
And another one. The spammers are in.
Well,
I've looked into so many and I've interviewed so many people. It convinces me that at least 90% that there has to be a large primate out there. I only keep 10% off in case I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've interviewed so many of them where I don't think it's a case of mistaken identity. I mean, when you're dealing with the witnesses, there's only three possibilities. One, they saw a Sasquatch. Two, they mistook something or someone for a Sasquatch. Or three, they're lying. And I certainly don't believe everyone I'm talking to is lying. I don't believe everyone I'm talking to is mistaken.
Right.
So I just don't see how. But then again, it's not impossible. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to add my favorite one in here. And it's my favorite encounter comes from a family member. That would be Uncle David Turner.
Oh goodness, I remember this story.
My grandfather's brother. Yeah,
great story.
This happened a long time ago. This was before Bigfoot, Patterson, Giblin stuff hit in the U.S. in which it was everybody thought he was nuts because he said he was attacked by a polar bear. He saw a polar bear, and it changed his life. And from then on, what really gave me the belief that he wasn't just pulling somebody's leg was that it was 4 miles or so back. He had to walk down the creek, the branch there, to get to the main road to catch a ride to the main road to catch a ride with his buddy. And after that thing had grabbed him and he got loose from it and he ran all the way home, he still would go walk that branch to get to the main road, the 4 miles. But after that, he always carried a pistol. He would not walk to there or back without a pistol on him. And that really,
where was this?
This was in Cumberland County, Kentucky.
Are polar bears common in Kentucky?
No. There's, I don't even think they've got any in the zoo, but I could be mistaken. I'm not certain. But he didn't know. He didn't know what to call it. He didn't know, and the only thing he could think of is something big and white that stood up on two legs. Could be a polar bear, and so everybody thought he was nuts.
What year was that? Do you recall?
Oh gosh, Thomas, I'd have to work it out. This was, probably 1930s or 40s.
So even before the term Bigfoot was coined.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This was before Bigfoot. Yeah. Way before. What was it? 57.
57, 58.
Yeah. Way before then. And it was. My grandfather told me this. When I was younger. I'm talking 7, 8, 9 years old. And that really impressed on me. And that's one of the reasons. After, of course, I saw the same movies everybody else did. But that got me interested in this whole mystery. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad it did.
There weren't too many movies made about this subject before the 1950s.
No, nothing.
The Curse of Bigfoot.
Well,
wow, that movie was horrible.
I think, the brain's not, but I think in 1955, 6, 50, maybe in 53, there was a black and white movie about the Yetis.
Yeah, the Abominable Snowmen of the Himalayas started featuring.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the one that got me. That's the one that got me going.
Mm-hmm. But this was, prior to all the hype about the Abominable Snowman or Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Nobody had heard of that. Nobody knew. Nobody had any idea. But in Marylebone, Kentucky, David Turner had some idea what was going on.
Well, the term Sasquatch was coined in Western Canada in 1929. Mm-hmm. It became popular, and it is the term in Canada.
Yes.
Abominable Snowman became headlines when Shipton conquered Everest.
All right.
I can't remember what year that was, 1924, 1920. I can't remember what year he conquered Everest, but on the way up, he photographed those footprints.
Yeah.
And thus the Abominable Snowman was, the term the media gave it for the Yeti.
Yes.
That was because of some misinterpretation, wasn't it? I believe that.
Well, Sasquatch, yes. It was the term Sasquatch was a Staheless word or Chehalis, however you want to call it. They used the term Saskats. The best way to pronounce it was take the word basket, drop the B in that SAS. And J.W. Burns wrote an article that appeared in Maclean's magazine, April 1st, 1929, introducing BC's hairy giants. And he called it Sasquatch, and that name just stuck and sort of pushed all the common local names out. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and became very popular in Canada, and it still is. Yeah. And of course, this is like 20 years before Bigfoot was coined down in Northern California.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's 10:56. I think it's time to give away that last book.
Okay, let's do it.
Bottom up. Here we go. Okay, 2 5s, a 1, 2, and 4. So that makes 10, 14, 15, 17 again.
17. Now, when you roll
10. Yep, 10 and 3 is 17. 17.
When you rolled, Western New York Bigfoot was the bottom comment. Okay,
that's fine.
So I'm going to start up at counting, starting with B. Lynn is going to be number 1.
I know that was
2,
a quick roll.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What number are we looking for, Steve?
15.
No, 14, 17.
17, sorry.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
There it is, Pat. All right, Turner, send me your address. PM me.
Congratulations, Pat. I'm glad you came in tonight.
Give you some reading material. Okay. Well, Tom, we're getting close to the end.
All right.
So, you better put, I feel bad because you haven't been able to really put any comments in tonight to get into this role.
That's okay. That's fine. I just got the message. Go to message. Help!
Robert goes to the Illuminati. Got nothing on these guys.
So I grabbed out. I just put the headset and everything away from the thing. Got it all out and came on.
That goes. You assume I can read.
Oh no. Steve is putting his engineering skills to work here. Steve, don't engineer us now. Come on, man. Average roll of 5 or 6 dice will be 17 or 18. Come on, man. We know you're a mechanical engineer.
Mr. Eyes, stick in there. Stick in there for
hang in there, man.
Hang in there for the $100 drawing.
Yeah, you guys. Don't go anywhere. It's coming really quick here. Well, we've got about 1 minute left of the show, Steve.
I want to recount. 2.
Okay. You want to go ahead and do it,
now,
Steve?
Now, Robert.
Everybody get their comments in now. Get them in. Let's do it in 60 seconds, okay? You got 60 seconds to get a comment in. And you never know. I mean, how many dice you rolling, Steve? Like
5.
5 dice? Okay.
5 dice.
You never know. It could be comment number 5. It could be, a quintuple snake eyes or whatever. Or it could be 5 times 6. I think that would be like 30, I think. Yeah. So it could be from 5 to 30, anywhere around
5 to 30 comments. So
yeah.
The tension is building in the room.
Now, before you roll, let me know before you roll, because I'm going to pick a comment that we're going to start counting from. Because after you roll, if somebody starts putting a bunch of comments, that would be cheating. We don't want to do that. So we'll pick a comment before or when you roll.
Lester Teller wrote snake bite. Lockberry wrote Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
Oh, Leon's in chat. Yeah.
Leon.
I'm
there he is.
There's Mick. I'm too sexy for a Sasquatch. Oh my God. The comments are just flying in. Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
All right. B. Lynn's got one on the bottom. It says Christmas. So we're going to start from there and go up.
Well, hang on. I was gonna call it down.
Oh, you call it. You
got 10 seconds. 10.
Okay.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freeze that comment.
It's still B.
And here we go. We're gonna give this a real good. Oh, Chris is gonna be counting like an MFer.
Oh no. What we got?
25. 3 6s, a 5 and a 2. 18, 23, 25.
3 6s.
3 6s is 18. Plus 5 is 23. Plus 2 is.
Let's say we got 23, 5. Whew, dang, Steve, why you couldn't roll a 5 or something? Okay. Beginning with B's Hola. Okay, we got Donald Fuller is number 1. Lockbeard number 2. B. Lynn 3. Robert Walker 4. Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks 5. My Eye 6. Uncle Bones 7. Bigfoot Okanagan Leon 8. Mick is 9. Rod Dupree 10. Lester Taylor 11. Bo Sox 12. B. Lynn 13. Robert Walker 14. Donald Fuller 15. J.D. Sedonia 16. Pine Island Research 17. B. Lynn 18.
Going all out.
Mick 19. High Five 20. There's Western New York 21. J 22. Uncle Bones 23. B 24. Look at that. Western New York Bigfoot. Number 25.
And there is the
You
count.
can't make this up.
You can't.
Joe, you did not win a book earlier because you already got a book, but you won the $100. Congratulations.
Look at that. And wow. Well, that was fun. That was exciting. I was like, and I'm not counting, and Chris was counting, and I'm like,
well, I wanted to count them out loud so everybody could go with me and see the comment, and that way we know for sure Chris did not make a mistake, because I don't want to make a mistake on this deal. But we love each and every one of you. And we want to thank you very much.
Joe wrote, I want to thank Jesus, my mom, my dad, and Bigfoot, and you guys.
Oh, man.
I'm getting Watergate vibes in here.
Oh, come on, both socks. You won a book. Oh, yeah. Watergate.
Steve, have a bonus draw to win a hug from Thomas. Oh,
Mick, we love you.
Robert's having fun with Colesgate, which is a lot more entertaining than Porcupine Gate.
Yeah. It's fun.
Nolan says congratulations
to everybody.
So,
yes, Angel, that's very nice of you.
And we are at 11:05. Tom, I want to thank you so much for coming on in tonight and kind of saving us a little bit.
Well,
and,
you're very welcome, sir. You're very welcome.
You are a wealth of knowledge, and we love drawing from that. And I loved you giving me some questions about that to give me some things to think about. And again, thank you. And Bigfoot Okinawa says, Joe, can you send me that $50 you owe me?
Oh, Leon.
But anyway.
Hey, wait a minute. I got an idea. Let's give away one more book. Come on. Can you do that?
We can do that.
I'll do it. You do it.
There we go.
We're giving away another book.
One more book for
Come
the fun.
on, guys.
Okay, here we go. 3 4s, a 5, and a 2. So that's 12 and 19, Chris. We got 12,
starting
17,
from Pat Collins's
18. Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Post some more there, Nikki. Post some more.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Uncle Bones.
Hey, Uncle Bones, too. You got yourself a book.
Boy, the New Yorkers are sure winning a lot tonight.
2.
Well, no, I don't know where Uncle Bones 2 is from.
Where are you from, Uncle Bones? Can you type in where you're from? Are you from the UK?
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
So Uncle Bones, too. Just throw
Congratulations,
your,
Uncle Bones.
Any winners that don't have me on Facebook or anything like that, just throw me an email at admin@squatchdetective.com for your winnings. Of course, Joe, please let me know your PayPal address, and I'll get that over to Chris.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for everybody coming on tonight and having some fun with us. And again, thank you to Tom, and at least I get to wish Tom a Merry Christmas in person tonight. And a Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Thank you, sir, and Merry Christmas to you, Steve and Chris.
Merry Christmas, Tom.
And may your 2022 be a lot better than the last 2 years.
Oh, let us pray.
Let us pray. And just one more. I'm curious as to what would Sasquatch leave in the gifting bowl if a book was left in there. Probably a roll of toilet paper.
A rock.
Yeah, probably. No, it already left a rock.
His Bigfoot was hard to beat. That ID was
well.
hilarious.
The glyph was good too. And,
yes, it was.
Tom, do you have any idea what we're talking about? Have you seen the gifting bowl video?
No.
Okay, so we'll show you, just for fun. We'll show you the gifting bowl video.
Yeah, we got started a minute or two late anyway. So
yeah. Let me just locate it. There it is. So let's load that file.
Hey folks, we're gonna check out what a lot of people don't know is for the last few weeks I've been leaving a gifting bowl out to bait the Sasquatch, and I've been leaving fruit, and a lot of times the fruit will just be gone. It's gotta be Bigfoot. And all of a sudden one day I came back and in the bowl there was a rock. Oh, Bigfoot. There was a rock. So I kept baiting it with fruit and vegetables. And then I started putting out raw steaks and chicken. And then the next thing you know, it left a glyph. And look at that glyph. It said, hi, H-I. So I left some more stuff out. And this time I added fruits and meat and vegetables. And then the next thing I got, it left me a note. I is Bigfoot. And we all know how they can spell. It's obvious. It's quantum physics. That's how they can spell. So, we're going to check what it left today in the gifting bowl. Let's go up to the gifting bowl, see what it left. Oh, I'm so excited. It's been leaving all kinds of great things. Where's the gifting bowl? Oh, there's the gifting bowl. Oh, my God. It left an iPhone. Awesome. Quantum physics. That explains it all. Who knows? Maybe the Bigfoot will actually call me on this. Catch y'all later, folks. Hashtag stopthewoonacy.
And there you have the gifting.
If you get a call from Igor, let us know.
I may get a call. Yeah, Igor. And you know, the funny thing is, I did that like a year before Igor came out with a phone call.
I want to say, Steve, that video was just as believable as some I've watched on YouTube.
Well, oh, by the way, Steve, thou shalt not hoax.
Bigfoot burner phone. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Just remember, Steve, thou shalt not hoax.
That's right.
That's a good rule.
And that's why I put on there parody. I wanted to make sure people knew.
Well, thank God you did that, because we never would have known.
But there would be somebody that would say,
yeah.
Oh, you got to check out some of those comments under that video too. Like, Steve, did you check the phone for Bigfoot family photos?
Were they all blurry? They wouldn't even give me a selfie. Well, anyway, again, thank you, Tom, for coming on. I just want to, yes, the question is, somebody asked, Raptor Crazy asked if we're doing another show before Christmas. Nope. This is it till the 26th. It'll be the day after Christmas.
Day after Christmas, yeah.
So we'll be very festive. We'll be having a lot of, probably a full belly. But thank you, Don. Don Fuller says, thank you. I really needed this show tonight.
Thank you for being here, Don.
So I just want to tell everybody, and it's been a tough year for a lot of folks, and there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I just found out today, and and Chris knows this, that it wasn't too happy news involving some family members, and it's a really tough pill to swallow. This is traditionally a tough time of year for me, for a number of reasons. And it's a tough time of year for a lot of folks, and I feel for you. But I hope tonight we could put a smile on some people's faces and have a little fun. And because I truly do the show to make people laugh and have a good time and get educated at the same time. Even Chris knows it was really tough for me to put on a smile tonight because of the information I found out. But I want to wish I'm going to keep that smile on, because a smile is contagious, and a smile kind of imprints on your own mind. So I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate during this holiday season. Just remember, embrace your family, love them. And if you don't have family with you, remember you have friends, especially two guys sitting here that care about you guys. And Merry Christmas to all. Chris?
Yeah. Well, again, I want to thank Mr. Thom Steenburg for coming on. It was an honor having you, sir. And we love you guys. We appreciate everybody that has been loyal to us and been with us this whole time. This show's about you guys. Yep. And you're what makes it great. And we really appreciate you. If any new people come in tonight, if it's the first time, please, give us a like, subscribe. We appreciate you. And we want to thank all our listeners, everybody, even the podcast listeners on
Absolutely
radio, all you guys. We invite you to come over by the YouTube channel so you can see how ugly I am. And, we really appreciate it. And Merry Christmas to everyone. And from the heart, we love you guys. We really do.
We do.
Thank you.
And guys, contrary to what you may or may not have heard, this podcast has been in existence now since 2006, and we don't intend on changing a bit of the way we've conducted business here for the last number of years. We try to have new people on every week. We try to engage stories as they come at us. And we give you our honest, raw opinion. And sometimes not all shows are for everybody. And we understand that. So, for those that have been kind of dismayed over a show or two in the past, never fret. We always have fun. We do this not out of spite, not out of meanness, nothing. We do everything, out of caring. And, we care about our audience and that our audience gets the truth. And that's what more can I say? That's what it's always been about for me, is the truth.
Steve and Chris, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And to the audience, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and stick to the facts and never deviate from the facts.
Amen. And on that note, folks, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas again. Keep a good week. Have a good week. Keep healthy. Stay safe. Embrace your loved ones and cherish the time this week. God bless, and keep on squatching. We'll see you all here next week, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on SquatchD-TV.com. You're live on YouTube.
Hey, folks, you've been watching SquatchD-TV. Join us each week, Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, for the latest on the Bigfoot mystery. As always, we thank you for being our loyal viewers and encourage all to subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Steve Kulls. As always, have a great week. Stay safe. God bless. And keep on squatching.